Hi, beautiful souls. I'm just sharing another reminder not to get caught up in fears. We can't help our brothers and sisters when we are in fear ourselves. And I thought I'd share another perspective on this because it may be helpful. I'm always looking at different ways that I can say things because sometimes when we hear something said a certain way, we go, "Oh yeah, that I feel that resonates with me." That's and sometimes it's like those funny slot machines you get in seaside resorts. Uh, we've got one here, um, where you put the two peas in and then it slides back and forth, and eventually the pennies all drop down. And I don't want to sound as if like, oh, the penny drops or anything like that with anybody. That's not my intention. But there is that sort of sometimes things just slot into place. Something suddenly just resonates with us. We may have heard something for years. We may have had certain teachings for countless years, but then there comes a day when suddenly it's like, wow. I had a moment like that the other day in Tai Chi. My Tai Chi class for Jill, I was, what were we doing? Anyway, that's not the important part. The important part is that we were doing a movement, and this is, I've been a student of Tai Chi and Qigong for since 2016. And this is something that I've been doing since then. And then I suddenly had this like aha moment in the class, and it just suddenly was like amazing. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I can see, I feel it. And it was really cool. It was really cool. Anyway, I digress again. So what I wanted to share was that often we observe, and this is something else I got inspired by something that was said the other day by a very beautiful soul, and she said about digesting what is going on. And I said, well, I'm not so sure I would use the word digest, because what we want is for Mother Earth to take anything that is not resonating with us, and for Mother Earth to process that in her own way. But to get back to the observing, we have sort of this habit. I like to say the word humans. Many humans like to observe, and that's fantastic, yeah, because it keeps us interested and teaches us to a certain extent, teaches us a lot, in fact. Observation is good, but, and there is a but here, when we have situations that are really pretty intense, observation can sometimes be like a sponge cake soaking up fluid, like a Rum Ba Ba. Like a Rum Ba Ba. And so observation at times like this is actually really not very helpful. So just to express what I'm trying to say, because I thought that this was going to be helpful, but maybe I'm being a little bit flowery today in the way I'm explaining things. But if you want to observe a flower in nature and sit with the flower and meditate on the flower, then observation is brilliant. if you want to observe your teacher demonstrating something, like a move, Tai Chi, for instance, or yoga or whatever, then observation is very useful. But if you're observing things that really do not feel good, then your observations can actually be a hindrance, because you may be one of those people that solely observe and don't tap into your abilities to be visionary in the way that you see the world. Now, if you were able to observe, but also snap out of it and instantly vision what you wish to bring into the world, that's probably going to be all right. But a lot of people, and the majority of people, they observe and then they fill themselves up with what they've seen, and then they go out of sorts, and they're not of use to anyone. They're not of use to themselves. They're not used to anyone else. Because right now, we really do need people that are visionaries, that are able to visualize how they wish to see the planet. And not just like, how they wish to see the planet for their own ends. We want visionaries that are in service to the collective, to the whole, to the love, to the peace, to the unity consciousness. Visionaries that can see a beautiful, peaceful, loving, and joyful world. So the main point that I'm trying to get at is that if you are an observer, but you have not practiced or cultivated ways to be a strong visionary, then you're best off not observing right now, because you're going to make yourself feel really bad, and then you're going to be of no use to anybody. You're not going to be of any use to yourself, and you're going to be out of sorts. And when you're out of sorts, you tend to attract more stuff to you that is not resonating with you. So be very aware of how you feel. Be very aware of what kind of person you are. A lot of people, they go through life and they're not really aware of who they are and what it is that makes them really, really tick, click, quick, quick, tick, click, quick. A lot of people, they aren't really that aware of who they are. And I say this with a lot of love, because it took me many, many years to really find out who I was, because we often mask who we are by various addictions. And addictions are enormous. They're not just smoking, drinking, recreational marijuana, or, addictions are vast. Thinking, overthinking is one of the worst addictions. Eating, an addiction. I mean, there's so many different addictions, and addictions are just covering up a very insecure person that doesn't know who they really are. And it's because of traumas. And like I said in lots of other videos and things, is that it's not about that, they've had necessarily a really bad thing happen to them, but it could be that they've just experienced some things that upset them, and they weren't able to process it when they were younger. And so they've hung on to that, and they've ended up creating this dynamic of like victimhood, or somebody is the baddie and what have you. So I just want people to be empowered. That's my intention for life, is to assist people to find their voice, find their sovereignty, their love for themselves, self-honor themselves, be kind to themselves, be kind to one another, and to shine their light here on the earth plane. But to do that, they got to be really aware of who they are and how they're showing up, because then they can start to empower themselves with ways of being that support them. So, just to recap, if you are an observer and you are not able to visualize strongly, stop observing and start practicing visualizations so that you can be a visionary, how you want to bring in the future, okay? But you do that in the present, because there is only power in the present moment. There's no power in yesterday and there's no power in tomorrow. The power is in the present moment. And if you're a visionary, then please do carry on practicing beautiful visions of a peaceful, loving, and joyful world. God bless you all. You're all beautiful. You're all love. That's the truth of who you all are. You're all love. And I send you much peace, joy, and happiness on your paths.